morning, everyone. It's Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and we are back with another Monday morning edition of Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about all things U.S. immigration. So, you already know I'm going to start off this morning with H-1B cap season and the fact that there is a second lottery. I posted this on my LinkedIn page a couple days ago, but you already knew that's exactly where I was going to begin. So USCIS last week announced that they were running a second lottery. This is only available for individuals that entered the initial lottery back in March of this year. So if you didn't enter in March, you're not eligible to enter now. But if you did enter in March, the good news is that the Immigration Service needs more applications in order to meet the regular cap, which is 65,000 new H-1Bs for the fiscal year. Even better news is that the individuals that were eligible for the master's cap are also part of this regular cap. What happens in March when they run the initial lottery is they run the master's cap first. Everyone that qualifies for the master's cap that is not selected in the master's cap is then automatically put into the regular cap. So everybody that put in, a registration in the lottery will be eligible for the second running of the lottery. So that's the good news. They do not need more applications only to reach the master's cap. It seems that they have enough of those. So the master's cap folks are not going to get a second bite at the master's cap with this second lottery here. So what you want to do is you want to check your My USCIS account. If your status has changed from submitted and now says selected, it means that you were selected in the cap. So run, do not walk, and go check your status. Immigration, USCIS, did not tell us when exactly they would be running the lottery, but myself as well as colleagues, we have seen changes already occur, so it looks like they have started to run it. We don't know when they will finish. They will, I'm assuming like they normally do, give us an update via a press report on their website or on an email if you subscribe to their emails, saying that they have finished running the second lottery. So again, if you entered into the lottery back in March, please go and check your My USCIS account. I know some folks are checking daily. I know some folks are checking several times a day, but nonetheless, make sure that you are checking that, especially if you have not implemented your Plan B yet when you did not get into the initial lottery. Next thing I want to talk about are our I-9s. So the I-9 form has a new addition to it with a new expiration date. So you want to make sure that you're using the correct edition of the form, not just the I-9, but all forms in general. And so practice tip, if you are pulling your forms off of the USCIS website, the day that you pull that off the website, it will have the most recent version of the form uploaded. But if there is a significant lag time between when you pull the form from the website to when you file, you always want to make sure that you are using the most recent form. So the I-9 form has been updated starting August 1. Everyone should be using the 8/1/2023 edition date. The edition date for the USCIS forms is in the bottom, I don't know my left from my right, the bottom left-hand corner in the footer. And the expiration date of this form will be 5/31/2027. The expiration date is in the top right corner. So just make sure that you're using the correct version of the forms. If you are using a private software company and you're not pulling your forms directly off of the USCIS website, just make sure that they have updated and that they are using the correct form as well. The majority of the form systems out there, are super on top of making sure that they have the right forms, but you also just want to double check that when you're getting your forms. from a private software company. The next thing I want to talk to y'all about is the parole in place for individuals that are married to U.S. citizens that are out of status. So when they first announced this, people were very excited, and the government said, "Oh, we're going to be accepting these applications by in the summertime." Well, we're in the middle of summer. Some would argue the summer is almost over. We do not have a Federal Register notice published, meaning we don't have kind of the rules that we need to follow published. So last time we chatted, last Monday, I let you know that the government said that they would be accepting applications beginning August 19th. Well, it's August 5th. We don't have the Federal Register notice published. We don't have any additional guidance from the agency about what form, filing fee, any of that. So I am still thinking that August 19th and summertime in general is fairly aggressive. I will, of course, keep you up to date on this, but as of right now, I'm not quite sure that August 19th is going to happen. I'd be elated if it does, but I'm just not quite sure that's going to happen. And so what you can do while we wait for formal guidance from the agency is figure out if you're eligible. So in order to be considered for this parole in place, you must have entered the United States without status, so without proper admission, without parole, without being issued a 994 card. You must have been continuously living in the United States for 10 years as of June 17th, 2014. You must be legally married to a U.S. citizen as of June 17th, 2024, and not have any kind of disqualifying criminal history. So if one or more of these you do not meet one or more of these, or you're not quite sure if you meet them, I would recommend that you have a conversation with an attorney like myself who can help see if you even meet the initial criteria that they have put out there for us. If you do meet that initial criteria, for some folks, the hardest thing is going to be, or the most onerous thing is going to be showing that they have been living continuously in the U.S. since June 17th of 2014. So I would recommend that you start pulling those documents now. If you've got to get creative, if you've got to think outside the box, then do that now while we are still waiting for the regulation to be published. So think about your school records, think about leases that you may have had, mortgages, deeds on property, if those things were available to you, insurance policies that perhaps your spouse listed you on. Think about things that put you here physically present in the U.S. living a life. Tax returns are another one that would be helpful. So again, those are things that you can be doing in advance of the actual first day that they will accept the applications. The next thing I want to talk to you all about is the USCIS Ombudsman's Office. They are sort of a neutral body within the government agency, and they are sort of, in often cases, a go-between between private counsel, clients, and USCIS. And so they have recently expanded and they've created regional representatives. So they will now have regional representatives in Los Angeles, which is what they're calling the Western region, Dallas, Texas, which they're calling the Central region, Boston, Mass, which they are calling the Northeast region, and Orlando, Florida, which they are calling the Southeast region. So LA, Dallas, Boston, and Orlando is where these regional representatives will be sitting. So let's start with what they're not going to do. They are not going to provide individual case assistance. So if you thought you'd have someone sort of closer to where your client sits or where you physically sit, not the case. As of now, they have told us that we still need to go through their regular process in order to get their assistance on individual cases where we may be a little bit jammed up when kind of dealing with USCIS. What they will do, so let's go there. What they will do is they will engage with local immigration stakeholders, meaning direct beneficiaries, meaning the actual immigrants themselves or counsel, and start building relationships and hear about their experiences when dealing with USCIS, good, bad, otherwise. They will help identify issues that may actually only be occurring in certain regions. Um, so that might be helpful. That might be helpful for the regional ombudsman's office to go back to headquarters and be like, hey, in our region, we're hearing a lot of this. Are we hearing this from other regions? Is this something that we need to see if USCIS will address? So we'll see how that works out. They will also take feedback from their local stakeholders back up to headquarters in DC. And as a way to sort of gather that information, package it, send it over to CIS and see if they can encourage CIS to perhaps improve their policies or their procedures or, what have you. And also they will be there to give people guidance on how to get specific case assistance or individual case assistance from headquarters. So that's what they're supposed to be doing. So we'll see, once they're up and fully running and fully functional, I'll be curious to see what happens with these regional representatives. Hopefully they will really reach out to local stakeholders. I'm especially curious to see what happens when we are able to identify sort of very local issues for them. What will then happen once that information flows back up to Washington, D.C.? So we'll see what happens. I'm optimistic that we will be able to really engage with these local representatives. So that is all I have for this Monday morning. I started with H-1B lottery. I will end with H-1B lottery. If you haven't checked your My USCIS account recently, please do so. They ran a second lottery, so super, super important for you to go and check that. So that's really all I have for this morning. Have a great great rest of your Monday and a great rest of your week. If you need any assistance with your immigration case, you're hiring someone that's not a U.S. citizen, you're not quite sure what that process looks like, feel free to reach out to my office. We are happy to help. Talk to you next Monday. Bye.